Hello, good morning from Denmark. Welcome to my kitchen. Hi everyone. Just give me a sec. I just need to I want to make it public on the Facebook page. I know a lot of you watching later from the States. How's your day? How's your day today? Mine started a bit and I did a bit of an energy cleanse and then it felt a lot better. Here we go. Going down here. Okay, let me meet public. There we are, all live now. So we have another class today. Today we are working with Gifu. Gifu. The rune of gifts and sacred marriage. Really, people like to see this when they're pulling runes. They're quite happy if this one comes along, generally. So I will go through my preamble. I've been working with the runes for a few years and couldn't connect to them. Tried for many years, and then I was taught how to journey with them, and then that worked. Once I started to connect to them energetically, sit and hold them, meditate with them, sing with them, all of a sudden things started to happen. And that's one of the reasons why I started this free class, was just to show you how simple it is actually to connect to the energy of the runes. And then once you have that foundation, once you have that basis, springing off then into learning and reading about the runes, actually something happens because you have something to connect that knowledge to, because you've already built up your a foundation of what it feels like, or whatever way you connect to them, how you've seen it, you've got an impression energetically of it. Works much better. So let me just see how we're doing on here. Oh, I had to have 2 cups of chamomile today. It's that sort of a morning. In the good old days, it would have been 2 cups of black tea, but I find it too dehydrating now. So I'm on the chamomile, but it's still good. It's all good. Yes, not easy in the world right now, is it? Why it's really important for us to do energy cleanses every morning, if we can remember at the moment, because there's just so much stuff around. And if you're energy sensitive, then you're picking all this stuff up, and yeah, your energy body needs a bit of help at the moment to get rid of it. So I'm going to start by singing the runes in. And this is where there's 24 runes in the Elder Futhark. If you look to the left, you can see on the headings, YouTube. So if you look to the left on my Ascension runes page, look at the headings, see YouTube, click on there. That's a playlist for all of these Ascension rune videos. And you'll also find on there, if you want to learn it, I'll teach you, I call it a circle of runes. There's other ways of learning it. You can learn it in X, which is like these lines. I'm a divine feminine sort of person, so I'm always seeing things in circles. So I sing a circle of the runes, and I imagine it is like going all the way around, and I sing it through 3 times, and it builds up like a wall of power and protection around. Very powerful. So all you need to do is just sit there, close your eyes, just imagine that this energy is building up around you. So just feel that wall of energy around you, circle of power. Feel yourself really grounded here on the earth, but connected to the everything. Okay. There's hi, Senior. Hi, Senior. Felt really good. Really invigorating today. Getting hot, it's getting warmer, but I think just the power is coming in for the red. Getting really hot now. Must be needing some energy from them. So when we work with the runes, for people, you see people give rune reading. Runes are really, really underused for healing. And once you start reading any rune books, there is like always a, you know, be really careful with the runes because you can like do it wrong and hurt people. And, you know, I mean, I've read that over and over again about being cautious. And yeah, I think if you're like doing it from knowledge, if you're doing it from the mind, if you're doing it from like this cognitive place of like, oh, that person's got this, oh, I'm going to think what rune is the right thing for them, and you work it out logically, I think you can go really, really wrong. It's wonderful to have a lot of knowledge and be very logical about things if you have a balance with the because that's the like the left side of the brain. If you have a balance with the right side of the brain where you're using your intuition and getting guidance from your spirit helpers or whoever you work with. And I think the runes are really underused for healing, partly because of this fear that we might hurt people, but also people just don't know that this is the way to connect with the runes. It's like, if you're energy sensitive, connect with them energetically. Once you get into the runes, you won't be able to stop yourself from reading books about it. It becomes a bit of an obsession, to be honest, because what other people have to say about runes is so interesting. It's a bit like if you have a role model, you know, someone you get really, really interested in. Like my husband really likes Bruce Springsteen. Like every Bruce Springsteen thing that comes out, he wants to read, he wants to see it, he wants to, you know, he writes like Jungian psychology articles on Bruce Springsteen, like analysing his work. And, do you know what I mean? It's like you get a bit obsessed. If you really get into the runes, you get a bit obsessed, and then you can't stop reading. But if you work with them by tuning in, they will tell you a lot of the time. Also, if you say, I need healing for myself or someone in your family, and you pull a rune, you know, the universe is giving you a message, and then you ask it, you know, what do I need to do? How do I need to work with this? And it will tell you. And there's just so much more we can do with these runes because they affect us energetically. They do things to our energy body. And so that's what we're going to do now. In a moment, I'm going to put some drums on. And I want you to, if you don't have a rune set, just draw it on a piece of paper. Even just like do this on your hand, yeah? Drawing runes on things with your intent is just as powerful as having a physical rune, if not more powerful, if you're really, you know, using your intent and doing some magical work. This is called Gifu, that's Gifu, and it does mean gift. I'll talk a bit more about after we've done the journey. So you can also go Gifu, Gifu, or you can just say Gifu, Gifu, or you can just say it over in your mind. Also, you can breathe it in and out, or you can imagine you're breathing the symbol in and out. The way I work with it is I just hold it in my hand and I just open up my energy body to Gifu, and usually it kind of grows like and surrounds me. Sometimes it does something different, but I sort of, you know, I make a connection with it basically. So let me get my bit of drumming. So we're going to do this for about 5 minutes. Okay, and I'm actually going to journey on it from the viewpoint of like our Ascension evolutionary journey at the moment, because you can do that with runes. You can go from a specific viewpoint, and you know, I've been finding that really interesting. But you can journey on it if you're meeting it for the first time. Just journey on it to say hello and get to know it a little bit. All right, I'll see you in 5 minutes. Okay, I hope you're back with us. So first of all, I'm going to share with you what Jörn has to say. If you want to look up any of the runes on the internet, there's loads of information. I'm using the Scandinavian names because I'm learning this from Sweden and they use that for there. But they're on the net as well, but they're a little different from the Germanic names, which is the more common way of working with them. So, and Jörn, he's a Swedish guy. It's really nice, this little book. Rune Magic and Shamanism, and it's Jörn Eriksson, Erikson. And Jörn says the rune of gifts, I can't say it today, gifts stand for harmony and balance. It summarizes and holds the 6 directions, east and west, south and north, down and up, and is a Nordic way to describe the great cycle of cosmos. Interesting. It corresponds to the American Indian medicine wheels and also represents the inner medicine wheels that are usually called chakras. That's interesting. I haven't come across that before. I've read this many times, these descriptions, and I didn't notice that about the chakras. The cycle of cosmos is a gift from the holy beings, but Gifu also represents the necessity of gifts in return and ceremonies given to us by the cosmos. So in the Nordic way of thinking, you don't just get gifts for nothing. There's always a balance. So if there's a gift, there's a price to pay. And whether that, you could say, well, if you receive abundance, then you're sacrificing your poverty mentality. You could see it in that way. There's a lot about keeping things in balance, and it's a very powerful and effective way of looking at things, actually. Gifu stands for reciprocity. It is our generosity, our ability to give of ourselves for the benefit of others, and it marks our way to balance and harmony with the landscape and its spiritual dimension. Gifu can also tell us that we have to sacrifice or give up something in a certain situation, and it stands for cleansing. The dark aspect of Gifu is standstill, where it needs to have dynamics and movement and leads to stagnation. So when you're working with the runes energetically, when you pick it up and you tune into it, you'll be able to kind of feel or get an impression or get a message about which aspect of it that it is. So when I tuned into this today from the perspective of like Ascension, our evolutionary journey, it was really interesting this morning. So I have my phone like one of these little tripod stands, one of these bendy ones. I couldn't get it to stand up this morning. It kept falling over, it kept going whoa like this, and I was like, yeah, that is a bit how I'm feeling. So but in the end I fixed it. I managed to sort of turn it around and twist it about and like readjusted some of the bits at the top, and then it was fine. And then that was really interesting. I just thought about that when I was meditating with Gifu. So you can see this as like, like the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and then in the middle is where they come together. And I got the word center point, and it was so calm and still here. So I was sort of journeying or meditating with it, and I was like in this center point of stillness, and I was like, oh yeah, this is what I need, because I've been doing a lot of energy work lately, and we all are, whether we're doing it consciously or not at the moment. There's so much stuff been coming in from the solar rays and all sorts of things. Our energy bodies are really shifting and changing at the moment, and we're going through so much flux and change. And like yesterday I put together, the last couple of days, I put together an initiation for a new healing system that I'm working on. And I did the initiation on somebody, like really high vibration energy. And, I'm a bit out of balance because of it. And then sitting and meditating with this, it like brought me back to the center point. And that's fantastic. I'm really going to be able to use this with people and myself, because we really need this at the moment. We really need. So that was interesting that he said about harmony and balance, because I think I have focused so far on Gifu, the gifts aspect. Ooh, gonna get something nice. And that harmony and balance thing, I really, really felt that. I really felt that today, like energetically coming into balance. So, some more people. Hi, Tina. Hi, Vina. And hi, everyone who's watching this in the future. Please write down your experiences on the comments below. I love to hear them. Please ask me any questions that you might have, any thoughts that you want to share. It's all good. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Norns today. So the Norns are the mistresses of the weave. And if we imagine that everything in the universe, there's this web that is the whole universe, and everything's kind of woven together. And the Norns, they're 3 women in Nordic cosmology who are, they're kind of in charge of it, I suppose. They are the ones that it's their job to keep everything in balance. So they are the balance makers. This means that if you have something in your life that you're not working, that's not working for you, it's like your personal weave has got a bit tangled. They are amazing to petition, which means like you go to them and you say, can you help me with this? Because they can give you a prescription, they can give you information and advice on like how to untangle your personal weave. It will involve work because these things that have got tangled up, you have you have to do the untangling. But the Norns can actually show you the way to do it if they think you're ready to do the work. But the magical thing I wanted to share with you, so I wanted to share a story with you about when I first came across the Norns. So I went on an introduction course to Seither, which is like Nordic shamanism or witchcraft, a few years ago in Skåne in Sweden. And we're in this lovely old farmhouse, this old Swedish farmhouse in the middle of the countryside, had its own well and everything. And we were doing all these journeys. It was great, really powerful stuff. And then part of it was for us to learn how to do high seat ceremony, which is something that they used to do in the Old Norse would do this. It was sort of their way of, well, I suppose getting a tarot reading. That's our equivalent of it today. It was prophecy, and it was the vulvas that would, or the voleur, that's a plural of vulva. It was the vulvas who would carry out this ceremony. So they were like the female saver practitioners, and they would bring through wisdom and information. Now, the thing is with the Norns is, because when I went on this introduction course, I knew nothing. I mean, I knew absolutely nothing. I went because I was prompted to go by my intuition. A lot of the people that I was on the course with, they just, they'd really been into it for years and knew all this stuff. But in a way, it was quite magical that I was going in completely fresh, because it meant the impressions that I got I knew they weren't coming from books, because I hadn't read any. I didn't know anything on the subject. And we did this high seat ceremony. And so like there'd be 3 of us at a time sitting with a staff on a seat, and like someone would come up, people would walk around in a circle singing, and then one by one someone would come and ask you a question. And so I would ask the Norns to, you know, work with me and like give an answer. And what I noticed, what was really, so we did this for, I don't know, maybe an hour. I don't know. It was sort of out of time, but maybe an hour or so. What I really noticed, so I've been doing readings for people for years and for myself. And what I noticed about like this high seat ceremony was there was a difference. And it was like the words that were being spoken, it was like they were creating new possibilities. There was this energy of like, it was like they were weaving this new option. And it was like, it was up to you to take it or not take it, depending on, you know, your own like free will and choice and whether you took the responsibility to do that and did the work, basically. But I'd never experienced that, and that was really, really fascinating. And so if you can learn how to work with the Norns, you have a really, really powerful ally. And I'm going to be teaching a class about that at the end of June. And if you go on my Ascensions page, my Facebook page on Facebook, it's called Ascension Runes. You can see I've pinned it. It's at the top of the page. And if you sign up before June the 14th, I need someone to be a volunteer. So I will like do the practice reading on them. If you want to volunteer, tell me and I'll put your name on a piece of paper and I'll put it into the hat. But you have to be able to come live to the class. But it's on Sunday evening. It's Central European time. So you just have to look at your time zone converter and see if you can be there live. And then if your name comes out of the hat, you'll get a free reading. But I'm really, really looking forward to that class because I love working with the Norns and teaching these things. It's a way, like, it brings me much more deeply into it as well. And they are really amazing, the Norns. So that would be very, very special to share that. All right, is that it for today? So who are we doing next week? Ray Ken Gifu. Winya. Oh, Winya's lovely. Winya's joy. Make sure you don't miss next week. But if you do, just look to the left, YouTube, go to the Ascension playlist. It will be there whenever you need it to catch up on. So that's it from me today. I'm going to go and scribble my impressions down in my rune journey book. This is part of my homework that I'm doing on here. My Save the course is a really good way of making sure I do it every week and find time to do it. All right, everyone. Have a good week. I'll see you later. Bye.